You're listening to audio stories made by students of the University of Canberra's Faculty of Arts and Design, produced from interviews with members of the local Canberra community. Episode 7.
Well, not my favourite movie, but one of is Ratatouille. Living in Canberra, it's a very, it's literally a story about, someone can be great and come from anywhere, I've always drawn, my whole life. I've always liked drawing. When you start a new school, it's you got to fit in with people, so you just kind of latch onto all sorts of things. And so I was doing soccer, and I was skating, and riding bikes and shit like that, That was fine for the time. Halfway through high school, I kind of discovered animation again. I really liked those movies when I was a kid. And I remember seeing How to Train Your Dragon in 2014. I was a bit younger, year 6 or something, and I loved the movie. I loved it. But then that was just a time where I just went into high school right after that, and then I just kind of had forgotten how much I liked those, because it's a very social time of your life. And then I do animation, so that's what I know. It's something that you just think about, all the time. There's no single day that I don't think about animation. It is literally a lifestyle, like you said, this is my lifestyle. My brain will never stop thinking about it. There's no day where I don't think about it. My life is animation, and if I'm not making that, I don't even know what I'd be doing. If you took that away from me now, I would literally be half the person that you even know. I don't even think I'd be the same person. It's literally just who I am.
I think I'd like to talk about woodworking and metalworking, making things in the shed and around the house. I think I started first making things probably from my younger days growing up on a wheat sheep cattle farm. It's a little bit, you have to build it yourself or fix it yourself. So yeah, I think probably from my father and brothers who go and build things or fix things. And then even through school, I did woodwork and metalwork and learnt how to do the techniques a little bit more rather than just throwing things together in the shed at home. I've made an armoire. That took probably a month and a half or more to make from start to finish. But then smaller pieces. When we had the kids, we built a change table out of wood, and that was from scratch. We also then had to resand and repaint the cot that we had at the time. And also living on a small property ourselves at the moment. Fixing some of the old machinery around here has been a bit of a struggle. A pulley might fall off something, so often you have to come up with new inventive ways and drilling into things and welding new parts. And it's satisfying when you have a broken piece of machinery and then you come up with an inventive way of putting something new onto it and keep it going, and then see it spinning at 500 revolutions per minute and not flying apart. Is good as well.
I think I was about 10 when I first picked up a DSLR because my dad is a photographer, so he kind of got me into it, and I remember just shooting really terrible stuff around my property. But I entered one of them into a local photography competition one day and won the under 12s section. So that was definitely probably where it kick-started. I love my conceptual work the most, like I said, and probably the most conceptual and personal piece I've ever done is a series called March Onwards, which basically explored my breakup about 6 months after it happened. Explored themes of grief and identity, and the healing process around all of that. I think with a lot of my art, one of the biggest challenges I face personally is self-worth and imposter syndrome. That is always, especially when I'm shooting for a big project or an assignment rather than just, for fun, I'm often plagued by this sense that what I'm doing isn't good enough or qualitative enough, or using all of my skills and time that I've spent learning this craft well enough or reflective enough of how long I have spent doing this.
In Year 10, we got the opportunity to go on work experience. I went into our local X-ray clinic, and that was probably my first proper, other than being diagnosed with diseases myself and researching through that, it was probably my first exposure to the outside world of diseases and health and how that sort of worked. We got to see an amazing X-ray of a lovely old man that came in with a fractured kneecap. And that is not something you see every day. Like, it's very uncommon, but it is so intriguing because he didn't know he actually fractured it until he stood up and it hurt. When things go wrong in the body, it's just so interesting to me that people can have conditions and diseases that either aren't supposed to be there or impact them in such a way that I just think it's so interesting. Being involved within the science cohort and the medical health cohort, I think, is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to teach to others, to then take it into the world and show others that it's not what the stigma shows, that it's gross, it's boring, that it is where the world's heading. The world is heading into the science field, and that's a really cool place.
This house, well, there's something about this house. I wouldn't know, I'd have to do a bit of an investigation. I've got my K2 meter, my REM pod set up over there near the door. It'll go wee if anybody goes near it. I've got the music box set up, got a bit of a motion sensor on it, so if there's any movement, it'll make a noise. So I'll just start off now. Hello, is there anybody here with me in this room? Can you come and touch my arm? Can you make the music box play? Or make the REM pod go off if there's anybody here? Did you hear that? There's a knock. Is there anybody here? Can you do that again? Can you do that again for me? Do I believe in ghosts? Well, me mum, she always used to know what was going on. She always used to know where people had put things, where they'd hidden things. You know, she just seemed to know everything about you, what was going on. Somehow she'd know where you hid your sweets, like in your room. It was like she could see. So my mum, she used to call it vibing, that she could pick up vibes. Her mum had it, great-grandmother had it, they all knew things. Anyway, the funny thing about my mum was that after she died, that's when we found the cameras.